Um, yeah, great. I played around with a laptop, and it's fine. I don't know. You
Does
know,
it
you have less to write about, and everything just works.
does it open and close?
Yeah,
Does it mouse and keyboard?
it sure does.
Plays Steam games?
Yeah, and Xbox Game Pass and all that good stuff.
That sounds like your basic PC then.
Yeah, pretty much. It's got a honkin' graphics card in there. Um, like a 3060. It's
I'm fucking sitting on one of those right now.
it's a fucking absolute animal, I tell you what.
What kind of 3060 is it?
I think it's just an Nvidia RTX.
Ti?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't know that they have TI for laptops at this point.
Oh, it's sorry, I missed that. It's laptop, yeah.
Sweet. So, a laptop that works more or less perfectly, is that like a 9 out of 10? Or is that a 7 out of 10 because you expect it to work?
I don't think we're scoring this one, which is great because I wouldn't know how. Because I've never reviewed or covered a laptop in any capacity, and I feel like maybe we just do a couple of laps with this one. You know?
Is it playing games from 2018 at Ultra?
Yeah, sure,
2019?
somewhat.
I mean that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I did Destiny 2
Yep.
on the high settings the system could handle.
Yeah.
And Hitman 3, I turned all the shit up and knew how. Although you have to do it all manually, so I might have missed some things.
Okay.
Yeah. Forza Horizon 5.
Nice. You were
I
playing
ran.
that at Ultra.
It just defaults to the high settings,
Right.
and the laptop has a 4K
Oh,
screen.
you can't be mad at that then. This sounds like a
No.
sounds like a nice machine.
Yeah.
What kind of price point are we talking about, though? That sounds expensive.
Yeah, a couple grand.
Okay.
It's on sale right now for only like 1,600, but you know,
Man, at 16, that's really not bad. Is that American?
I'm gonna say so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that's really not that bad though. For the portability, and if you're playing Forza 5 at high to ultra settings, fuck, sign me up. Sounds like a good machine. Be great for being in the hotel room, something to play
Yeah.
with. Yeah.
Like any good gaming laptop, you unplug it and put it in battery mode, and you've got about 40 minutes on a high-end game. Like,
Uh-huh.
you can't run a graphics card of that size on a fucking battery. You
Yeah.
just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a fun thing I'm learning in messing around with this machine. It's pretty cool. It's a Lenovo Legion.
Okay, that sounds like it means business. The Legion.
Yeah, it's got all the, the usual bells and whistles, a pretty dang decent processor. Some sort of AMD Ryzen, something in the Ryzen line.
Yeah,
And,
one of those.
Yeah. He's got a giant like terabyte hard drive in it. Oh, it's rad, man. It's rad. It plays the games. Although it's interesting because I was looking up because I was trying to find stuff. I was like, I need something that'll really push the limits of this thing. And the only thing I could find that I couldn't really test out was Battlefield 2042, which apparently
Wow.
requires a 3060. And the reason for that is because it's optimized very badly. And I'm learning that really makes the difference between being able to or not being able to run a game on PC. Like, part of it is your graphics card, but part of it is whether or not the people making the game bothered to optimize it in any way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the nice thing about that is that you don't have to play Battlefield 2042.
Nobody does. Absolutely nobody does for any reason whatsoever. That's correct.
Well, I haven't been looking at laptops per se, but I have been looking into the growing market of handheld retro gaming devices.
Yeah.
There are some pretty damn good ones now. Like, there are things out there that will play PS2 and GameCube games reliably.
Yeah.
And, oh, that sounds pretty good. Get something like that in the form factor of a Switch or a Switch Lite?
I was just looking at one. It's called what the fuck is it called? Gelato or something like that. Something fucking stupid, but people are talking about how it's supposed to be the next generation of these handheld emulators. It can play PS2 games fairly well, Xbox, and down the line, GBA, PSP, etc., etc. I think it's called the Gelato, or maybe Orbit. I don't fucking know. Sorry.
Those
You
two
could
things
just
are
pick-
nothing alike.
Gelato Orbit.
You just make up a word. You could just pick one right out of the air, and I believe you.
Man, it could be the cheese grater.
Yeah.
It's something. It's something like that.
It's the Gelato Orbit.
Yeah.
If that device doesn't exist, I want to make one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound
Send,
about right.
send your creamy smooth graphics into fucking space. That's what that's all about. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I haven't taken the dive yet, but, love me some good retro games, and being able to just take those on the go, I don't know, sounds pretty tempting.
What kind of retro games are we talking, though? Are you like a GBA kind of guy, SNES, even
Yeah.
further back? You're probably like a Pong kind of guy, if I had to guess.
A Pong kind of guy. Yeah, that's me, 100% Pong. No, we're looking at like Super NES,
Yeah.
Genesis,
Okay.
GBA.
Well, yeah.
I'd try to dabble in some N64. I know that's incredibly difficult to emulate for some reason.
Well, look out for that Gelato Orbit, because that thing can do it. I swear to you, it will do it, and it'll do the PS2.
And it will smear a thin layer of gelato over the N64 graphics to really get that authentic feel.
Okay, well, let's not get out.
Yeah, you're not playing N64 unless it looks like dog shit. That's how you know. That's how you know you're really getting the genuine experience.
Like the people who made Turok, Dinosaur Hunter.
Mm.
They said, what if the fog was 3 to 4 feet in front of the player at all times? How cool would that be?
Yeah, very, very.
At the time, that game was awesome.
All I remember about Turok is that there were cheat codes, and that I used them liberally to just bounce around every stage in the game, and just like
You've described every game of that era, though. Every single one.
Well, sometimes you had to play them legitimately. Sometimes it was a rental. You had it for 2 days, and you're like, well, no, I'm not doing this the hard way.
Sure. You didn't have time to go locate the cheat codes. Dial-up wasn't going to work fast enough. You only had 36 hours at most.
Yeah.
What a dark time.
Very, very dark time.
Fuck. Podcasts were just a sparkle in someone's eye.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's nutsack.
And look at us now.
Look at this. Oh.
Telling people about video games.
Yeah.
That's right.
Fucking vying for that Harry's Razors sponsorship.
We want Harry's, not Manscaped,
No, I'm done.
not Dollar
I'm
Shave.
done. I'm done with those who should not be named. I'm not even going to say their name on this podcast anymore. The way I see it, they've already earned enough free advertisement off me. Harry's Razors. That's the way to go. And it's just
we won't bow. We're not going to get bought out by
no,
the Gillettes of the world. We're not taking that sponsorship.
no, exactly.
Schick, get out of here.
Yeah, Schick. Yeah, fucking Bic. Obviously, Bic. Like they have no chance.
What is that company anyway?
Dude, they make everything.
They make razors and pens.
And pencils. and
and what else?
shaving cream. I think they have.
So far you can draw a mustache on your face or you can remove it. Yeah?
Yeah, they're pretty
Okay.
much in that business.
Okay.
I want to
okay.
see somebody shave a graphite mustache off their face.
I don't think that video is going to make it onto YouTube. I think the graphic content filters will kick in, and then because it would like, yeah, I just had to take off the top 4 layers of my skin, and I'm mustache free. Also, someone call all of the hospitals.
I mean, or you can make your pencil very sharp. You know, things work both ways with this. Beautiful. It's really a beautiful system that they have going.
Tell you what, Rhett, you can upload a YouTube video where you jam a pencil and a razor together, like an electric razor, and then see
Oh.
who wins. And then we
Yeah, but
will
no,
visit you in intensive care.
but they
What do you
make
say?
shaving cream. Well, I'll just lather up a pencil and fucking give it a nice little sing 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 sing.
Sort of
It's like
sort
that.
of weird, bud, but that's cool. That's cool. You've got dreams and you've got the means.
Yeah.
So you can make them all come true.
Yeah, that's fair.
Use that shaving cream to staunch the bleeding, and
Yeah.
you'll be right
It,
back in
uh,
business playing video games
Yeah.
as we attempt to transition to that for the second time.
Oh yeah.
James, I see you played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. Please tell me it's as good as I think it is.
It is.
Fuck
It
yeah.
absolutely is. It's really fascinating because the visual element borrows very, very, very heavily from the 1987 TV series.
Yes.
So like all the sets and the vehicles and the character designs and the colors, everything is gonna be like, oh man, this looks unbelievably familiar, including the intro, which they did a new animation for. I would swear it is the same song that they just did a new animation, or they re-recorded it with like a perfect imitation. I don't know which. Maybe I'll never know because I haven't bothered to look it up. But it's amazing. Gameplay wise, it feels very much like Turtles in Time, or like the arcade version of that, which I think was just Turtles. And it feels great, and all the animation is crazy smooth, and there's a ton of moves. Kinda, it's like a Mortal Kombat game where like every 2 successive button presses does something different, even though that thing doesn't really add up to much. But some of the moves are cool. There's this thing you can do where like you have a jump strike, but you can also do a double jump, and then you're like flashing like the character model, and then you can do attacks until you hit the ground, and they're also cool. Or you've got like sort of like dodge roll kind of dash moves you can do, and your grabs and all that stuff. It's great. And there's moves you have to unlock, I think, later with more ninja power, because it's, you build that up and you can use your specials.
Okay, so we've
So
got
you've
an
got-
actual special meter, not
Yeah.
consuming your health to do special moves.
That's correct.
Okay, I like this. I like this.
Oh yeah, and if you're playing right, you can be unleashing that fucking thing like every couple of minutes or so, just like constantly laying that out. Another thing that bears investigation is who does the voice acting, because some of the roles, like some of the turtles, sound real familiar. I don't know who does April O'Neil or Splinter. I never have. Could be the same people, could be totally different people. Could be just a fresh new set of people that sound unbelievably like cartoon voice actors. I couldn't tell you. That show is like at least 30 years old.
It is 35, in fact.
Good God. Anyways, it's a blast. I can't wait for it to come out. I played the demo like 4 times,
Sweet.
like start to finish.
Did they have a date on that, or is it just 2022 still?
I think the last I heard was summer 2022, but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Between that and the Cowabunga collection, man, I'm good for the rest of the year. Nothing else needs to come out. Starfield delay, don't care. Cowabunga, baby.
Yeah, Kawa fucking bunga. There's a lot of sick Turtles games coming out that all cater to a very specific age group. Us, which is awesome.
There's
Fuck them
also
kids.
there's also an extreme collector's version of the Cowabunga collection that has so much shit in it, and it's like $200. And I'm considering getting it because, well, it's about that time in my life. It's time to relive my childhood a little bit.
Yeah.
Get a review copy, dog.
Request the collector's edition.
Straight out. Like, why wouldn't you?
All right. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
You know.
Sweet. Well, that's good. On my side, I have been playing a couple of things. The main one that I tried out and really, really liked on Game Pass, Trek to Yomi, which is
Yeah.
a 2D side-scrolling-ish samurai action game that is 1000% a Kurosawa film. Everything's black and white. There's wind whipping all over the place. It is very much like the Ghost of Tsushima Kurosawa mode. But just the whole game's like that. Has a pretty decent story. The samurai action is both fun and engaging. And it's on Game Pass. So that's a good thing. It's pretty damn fun. It's a little bit more methodical than something like a Ghost of Tsushima. It's still very much like a couple of hits and pretty much anything is dead unless they're a big bad. But it forces you to play very methodically and carefully. Like there's a specific button to turn around, for example, if you want to fight somebody behind you. Or there are different moves with up and down slashes that differently make your enemy react differently, basically. Or things like parrying and trying to counter has a very tight window.
It's like Prince of Persia.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
It's great, though.
that's cool.
Really
Yeah.
enjoying it. Defaults to Japanese voices.
Good. Excellent.
Nice, yeah.
As it should.
Would highly recommend.
Hell yeah.
Did you happen to check out the English voiceover?
Nope.
Yeah.
I didn't even check if there was one.
Dude, honestly, like I know the dude that did the English voiceover in Ghost of Tsushima is a renowned actor, well regarded, etc. But I just couldn't play that game in English. It just it just didn't feel right. I switched over for maybe 20 minutes, and I'm like, I just don't buy it. You know?
I played in English for a bit, and some of the actors do a great job and sort of nail the accent or nail the vibe. And then some of the peripheral characters are like just straight up American accent. I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
I need to switch right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not saying they didn't hire good voiceover
Yeah, yeah.
actors
Yeah,
that
I know
could
what you're
do it,
saying.
but it's just like for the time period, it's like
Yeah.
I couldn't. But really, for any film, any game like that that's in another place, another time, English usually breaks the immersion for me, so I try to switch away from it.
Totally fair. On that note, what have you been playing, Rhett?
I have been playing. I was just trying to think if I had any sort of dialect. No. I've been playing Evil Dead.
Sick.
Okay.
Evil Dead, yeah, Evil Dead the game. I mean, if you've played Friday the 13th, if you've played Dead by Daylight, this is really just the next step in those sort of asymmetrical multiplayer games where you're playing with a team of people against one evil entity that is overpowered and is gonna fuck with you throughout a 20 to 30 minute match. Yeah, it's animated well. It looks good. It's got fucking Bruce Campbell voicing Ash, of course, so that's cool. It's really everything you could want from an Evil Dead game of this nature. If it wasn't going to be some sort of single player experience, it's really everything you could want. When you're playing as the survivors, like it really does work very much like the other Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th kind of games where you're just upgrading a character that has different stats depending on who you pick, a different special ability depending on who you pick. But what sets this one apart is playing as like the demonic characters. What I really, really appreciate is the fan service is fantastic in this game. And playing as the demonic characters, you like float around the way you move around the map, you just sort of float around it. You can go very quick. You rip around the map and you can like move through things and whatnot. But they recreated that camera shot that they use in Evil Dead. You know?
Really?
So yeah, so you're exactly. So it looks awesome. Like when you're playing as the demonic characters, it looks fucking awesome. A little bit tough to control because you do fly around the map. They really do give you a speed advantage over everybody. But then when you're in that form, of course, you can do a bunch of different stuff. Different attacks. You can set traps. One of my favorite things is you can possess a vehicle. If the group of people that you're trying to kill is in a vehicle, you can possess that vehicle and drive it for them, drive it off a cliff, drive it,
Oh,
like stuff like that,
that's
uh,
amazing.
you can possess trees throughout the woods, and if somebody walks by one, you can do like a jump scare and fucking attack them with the tree. Like it's stuff like that they do very, very well. I'm not usually one to play the enemy of these types of games. I like to be in there with my friends and working as a team to get through these. But with Evil Dead especially, I'm like, damn, they do a lot of things differently. That you know, yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
It
Yeah,
looks
that
pretty damn
sounds.
good.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen anything about it, but
Yeah, I mean, it's got its issues like those other two games. There's not exactly a bunch of content in it. Like
mm-hmm.
it's very much like a game where it's like, you get your group of friends together and you play it. It's not about like advancing or necessarily unlocking stuff. Not to say that there isn't stuff to unlock. Like there's plenty of cosmetics and you level up your characters. Each character individually levels up and whatnot. So there's stuff to do in that sense, but once you've played 20 hours, there's not really anything else beyond that. Uh, yeah, it's either you like playing the game with a group of friends, or you'll get a good chunk of time out of it and then move on. Just like all those other games, though, the Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight, they worked the exact same way with me. They were fun for a little bit, had a great time, saw what they were all about, moved on.
That was going to be my question. Like, is this measurably different than those?
It's not. It's not by any means.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
By any
you're
means.
just paying for the Evil Dead vibe.
Paying for the Evil Dead vibe, Bruce Campbell,
Mm-hmm.
better graphics. It runs really well as well. That's the other thing. Like Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, one of the things that didn't really fucking do any favors to keep me hooked was that the games run like shit. They really do, like the animations aren't done very well. Friday the 13th especially, like it's got all kinds of frame rate issues. And so this game, it's just refreshing to see that it's a smooth 60 frames. Animations are nice, executions are cool, weapons are fun. The voiceover work is fun. The voiceover work is kind of repetitive, I'll admit, but it's all fun. It's all good, it's it's exactly what I expected out of this game.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice. James, what else you been up to?
Well, I did. I've started playing Soldiers for review.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that last time.
Yeah.
You seemed relatively interested last time.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a Metroidvania game.
Hmm.
Basically, it's a whole squad of soldiers for this one king's army. They get trapped and condemned to death. And then the Valkyries are like, "Yeah, so listen, you guys are straight fucked. You can either go into oblivion or come with me and fight our way, like in a cool, rad fashion." And everybody's kind of like, "I don't know." And then the leader of their squad's like, "Yeah, let's go." And then everybody else just sort of follows along. And you've got like your standard three classes. I think there's like a bruiser, a magic user, and a roguey type. And yeah, you just explore this ever evolving area. The like it's a Metroidvania. But the cool thing, the thing that stands out is that the pixel art and the animation is fucking excellent. So like all the enemy animations and all the character animations and all the effects and stuff like that, the music is just it's fantastic. Gameplay wise, it's like, listen, you have played this game. You have played Metroidvanias in your life. You know what to expect here. It's all written right in the tin. But like, oh, the presentation is so choice. Um, I'm probably gonna try to do as much as I can of a run through all three of the major character classes, just so I can like really get
Yeah.
everything out of it that I can before the embargo date drops. Yeah. Um, kind of hard to kind of hard to form my thoughts on it at this point because, like I said, it's it's just sort of like a tough Metroidvania game, but it looks and sounds amazing, and the controls are tight, and the animation is excellent. So, like, if that specifically sounds like your jam, then oh damn, Soldiers coming out at the end of the month, and it'll be right up your alley.
This is not at all what I thought it would be presented like. I don't know what I was expecting, but this is way more almost anime-esque.
Yeah, the intro cutscenes and stuff like that do have a sort of like early anime vibe to them. Um, and then almost like Ghosts and Goblins, but not exactly. Way, way easier than Ghosts and Goblins,
Okay.
which you can say about basically every video game. Um, yeah,
Fuck.
it's
This
quite
looks
nice
fun.
to you. Yeah, you've got leveling up you can do if you just like stomp on enough enemies. Um, you do end up sort of starved for items, like recovery items and stuff like that. Like you end up like really limping between save points at some points, but like I don't know, man. It's just like careful, deliberate, cool combat and like lots of exploration, some backtracking, we're unlocking new powers and using them to do more exploration. All the like the traversal feels pretty slick. There's this weird thing you do where like I don't know why they did this, but like you can't your jump arc isn't enough to make most jumps. And
Mm.
it's like a deliberate choice
Hmm.
where you'll sort of do a leap and catch on the edge and just sort of like up yourself up over. And so when you're like predicting your jump arc and like timing how to do the leap, you sort of have to aim for like the top of the ledge, like on the side as opposed to actually on top.
Mm-hmm.
It's very curious, but like you get used to it pretty fast.
Nice.
Hmm.
Well, there's like a million and one of these games, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's always nice to see that they're still able to innovate somewhat, and add, take the giant vat of mechanics that you can pull from and jam a few different ones together and come up with a pretty fun experience, even for somebody who plays a lot of them like you do.
I've played a few,
One or two, one or two.
one or two.
Speaking of one or two playthroughs, I have gotten back into Stellaris, which
Mm.
is the Paradox Interactive Grand Strategy space conquering game. And Stellaris has been out for like 6 years at this point.
Okay.
and I keep coming back to it because of all the Paradox games. I think it has reinvented itself the most. Pretty much every patch or every update to this thing, it's a Paradox game, so there are a lot of DLCs, but the game has evolved quite a bit even without the DLCs. How you manage planets, or how you manage populations, or how combat goes, or how diplomacy works. All those things have been updated multiple times. And I swear, every time I do a run through of this game, it is a totally different experience. And one of the neatest things about the Paradox launcher for this game is you can roll back and forth between patches. So you can kind of go back to an old version if you want to play, a game in the style before they introduced a diplomacy system, or before they introduced this, the latest update or the latest DLC, Overlord introduces a bunch of, vassalization mechanics if you want to play with that. So, and it's a real time suck. If you sit down and get invested in your little empire, you will be there all night. I guarantee it. It's a very relaxing, pretty game to look at. Good times all around. Stellaris.
Awesome.
Don't feel pressured to buy all the DLC, by the way.
Yeah.
Just play the base game.
I haven't gotten into one of those big, crazy Conquer the Galaxy, Conquer the World type games in a while, and yeah, there's always a chance that that one will catch my eye.
Probably runs pretty great on that laptop.
Oh, I'll probably never know. I'm shipping it off to after I factory reset it back to the manufacturing facility.
Curses.
I know, but but if it's 6 years old, probably I have machines that can run it.
It's one of those games that, it still looks pretty good. A lot of it is text, so it's not that hard to run. But when you get to the end of the game and there are 20, 25 AI empires all doing their shit at the same time because it's real time, it slows to a crawl. It's, 10, 15 frames per second, regardless of what you have on tap. So look forward to that, like 200 years into the game.
Oh, nice. Sure.
Rhett, what else you got on the go there, buddy?
Sorry, a little Sniper Elite 5 I've been playing. I can't say much. I know it's past the embargo for the first 3 missions, so I can, speak a little bit about it, but it's this.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the same old shit. To be honest, it's the same old shit. These, at least through these first 3 missions, what I've seen. Like, if you've played Sniper Elite 1, you've played Sniper Elite 5.
How are the slow-mo testicle explosions in this version?
Incredible. No, incredible. And they're why you come, of course, but they've been trying to market this one like it's the next generation of Sniper Elite, and it's going to be, this big step forward for the series, but it's not. It feels just like the ones from yesteryear, where the sniping is great. You need to take into account the wind resistance and the bullet drop and stuff like that, and that's all great. And then, of course, the slow-mo cams and the X-ray and the dudes getting their nuts blown off is the best. But everything else is just so mediocre. It's so mediocre. It's the animations are subpar. The controls are kind of laggy. There's delay input. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, same old shit. Same old Sniper Elite. If you enjoyed 4, you'll love 5. Enough said.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those franchises that didn't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. They might want to say that they're reinventing the wheel, but really, they know who their audience is.
Totally.
They know what they want.
Absolutely. They're doing what they're doing, and they'll continue to do it. But with 5, nothing is different. Nothing is different. And I'm not like a fucking Sniper Elite connoisseur by any means. I don't really have much experience in the past, but I've played, I want to say 3 and 4. I know at least a couple of them, and it's the same shit. It is the same game.
Is there a trophy or an achievement for completing the game with nothing but nut shots? There should
Actually,
be.
didn't look. Yeah, I didn't look, but hopefully.
That sounds like a platinum trophy to me.
Yeah, that's good.
I remember 1,000 years ago, the last E3 I went to, I did a VR demo of Sniper Elite 4. It was for like Oculus Quest or for PSVR, one of those.
Mhm.
And when you went into the space where they were, you know, setting you up and giving you the gear and the machines and having you do the thing, if you looked to one side, you could see a little whiteboard with a bunch of tick marks on it, and that was for how many times a player doing the demo had pulled off a testicle explosion. And I got to add one to that board during my time at the demo, and that really, to me, was the true victory. I was
Yeah.
like, "Did you win? No, but I did blow some guy's balls into shards." And
Yeah,
what else do you need?
that's true. That's true.
That's the kind of thing that goes immediately onto your video game resume. You know, if you're applying for a job or to write something, you say, "Well, you know, I don't want to brag too much, but I did blow some balls off in
Right.
Sniper Elite 4 VR."
Confirmed. Yeah, confirmed. 15 testicles exploded in Sniper Elite VR.
Sweet. That's on pretty much everything, right?
Everything. I don't know about Switch, but yeah, everything.
Is it on Game Pass?
Ooh. I don't think so, but if it's not at launch, you know it's the kind of game that will be. Sit tight.
Oh, Sniper
And
Elite
it-
5 will be on Game Pass on
That's the-
Thursday, May 26th.
Guaranteed, and that's the perfect kind of game to Game Pass. You know, it's not one you want to put any money into, but you sit with it over a nice weekend, you blow some testicles up, you won't be upset.
I love it. I love it. James, anything else to touch on here?
Sure. I did play. I'm going to struggle with this because I have no idea how to pronounce the name.
Oh yeah.
Let's get a good look at the word here. Eiyuden. Yeah, sure. Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. And it's a prequel title because Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes is coming, I don't know, next year, I think, or something, maybe later. And it's basically like a spiritual sequel to Suikoden. Or at least it has a lot of heavy Suikoden vibes, and I think it's got like devs from that series attached to it. And so people are like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to play this big, cool, amazingly complex RPG." They might really like Rising because it gives you some insight into like the lore and the backstory of certain characters, and it introduces you to certain parts of the world. Beyond that, it's just like a town building RPG where you do odd jobs to restore a village to its former glory after a terrible earthquake wiped most of the commerce away. And buddy, let me tell you right now, if I have to watch that fucking animation one more time of the portly laborer, you know, pretending to saw a thing or hammer a thing and then like, oh, wiping the sweat off his brow while this weird fucking MIDI hoedown music plays, I'm gonna stick something in my ears. That's it. That's all there is to it, man. Throw himself out of a fucking 6-story window. I just can't. I cannot watch that animation again. And it feels like a drastic, horrifying oversight that they're like, no, you have to watch this like 40 times to play this game from start to finish, and you can't skip it. It's not long. It's like 4 seconds. Feels longer after a while. Also, the animation uses this weird puppet rigging technique, which, obviously they're trying to save time because it's just like a prequel, like a bite, like an appetizer before the main course. I get that. Still doesn't look great. But the actual character models, the sprites, are quite detailed and very good. Like I didn't realize that it was sprite art, but you look close up enough on the characters, like you get some close up shots, and you're like, oh yeah, that's actually sprite work. Okay, that's cool. That's good stuff. Yeah, it's definitely for people who backed 100 Heroes and can't wait for it to come out and can't wait to dive into the world. This is your game. This is your chance. This is the hors d'oeuvre that you've been chosen for. Otherwise, I wouldn't.
I'm watching this trailer, and if you're one of those people who did not back the full game, you should skip this and go play Indivisible instead, which is another 2D action RPG kind of game from 505 Games, and it probably is better because that game's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so just roll over that shit. It's fine. Tell you what, I did finally, several years late, because this is my first time owning an Xbox in the whole of my adult life. I did finally try out Sunset Overdrive. And I fucking love it, man. You because it's the same guys who did the Spider-Man games, right?
Yep.
So you still have that sense of like traversal and fun exploration and like just getting from place to place is amazing. Except it's way more like slapstick gory and full of like this fucking attitude and like this crazy graffiti type visual style.
Mm-hmm.
And like all of the violent action feels so fucking satisfying, and like it's an incredibly compelling, addictive gameplay loop, but it just makes me want to do all the dumb little side quests and just delay finishing the game for as long as I can because I don't want to stop playing. So like if you're somebody out there who like missed this game because, you just didn't have an Xbox at the time, or like just didn't seem like it would be up your alley, you're wrong. You check this shit out.
Yeah.
Fucking rad.
My story about Sunset Overdrive is that at the time it came out, I didn't like it. And I think it's because Insomniac was just coming off of Infamous and what is it? Infamous First Light was the expansion, something like that. And my brain at that time wanted it to be another Infamous game, and it's not. It's a very different thing, but objectively, it is a very well-designed and bizarre thing.
Yeah, there's
But
a
some weird shit.
There's a set of quests you have to do where you're like helping out this band of LARPers whose minds basically broke because the apocalypse happened locally in their city and they just can't they can't cope with what they're seeing. So they're like, no, we got to be on this 12th century kick for the whole time. And like all of the dialogue where you interact with these people and all of the quests involved in that group is just, it's priceless shit. Honestly, it's so good. The writing, honestly, was like the big surprise for me. Where I was like just really impressed with how these characters are fleshed out and how fun all of it is. And like, yeah, I loved it. Still love it. Can't wait to play the fuck out of the whole thing.
It's like the whiteboarding session for that game was, man, we really like how wacky the Borderlands world is. Now, what if we did that with graffiti and wrote it well?
Yeah, basically. It's just like, what if the writing was good and you're not spending all of your time looking at different guns?
You don't want another green and red arrow simulator?
Yeah, an arrow comparison engine. Yeah, you have to do this like horde mode tower defense type shit
Yeah.
where you like protect this like chemical process while it's completing so you can like get more cool ass power ups. And I got really stuck for a bit because I couldn't figure out how the traps worked. But it turns out you just like jump on most of them to activate them. So I was just like doing this hilarious like Super Mario style bounce between like 8 of them that I'd set up and just barbecuing like everything that came within 30 feet.
Sweet.
Fantastic.
The power up or the level up mechanic in that is some kind of energy drink or something, isn't it?
Yes. The energy drink is the cause of and solution to all of your problems. It's the reason you have zombies in the cities because they did not test this thing very well before they released it to the public, and they made monsters. And then you extract the good bits from the evil shit, and you can use it to give yourself crazy power-ups. And you're like doing rail grinds on surfaces without a board or anything. It's just with your feet. You can make a character go barefoot, and that has no impact on how they can travel
Yes,
on rooftops.
it's magic.
It's pretty rad.
Is this one of those games that's got a sweet visual upgrade on Series X? Like runs really smooth and all that.
Oh, it's butter smooth as far as I can tell. I don't know. I don't know if it got any sort of like extra shine or if it's just like a straight port, but like it's interesting. Some of the textures are like, yeah, that doesn't look like it was meant to be seen in 4K. But some stuff, like people's faces, like the actual models, look amazing. Some of the clothes, it's like, oh, that's weird. But like, but yeah, the clothes look really good, and the enemies look really good, and the effects look really good. It's weird.
It is a shame that this game is only on Xbox and now Sony owns Insomniac, which probably means Microsoft owns the franchise. So we're probably not going to see another one of these ever.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Well, no, because they took all that crazy traversal shit they were perfecting and pumped it into the Spider-Man games.
That's true. Although the tone of those games is slightly different. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, not nearly as many hallucinatory drug trips or like F-bombs or anything like that in
Yeah.
Spider-Man. It's a real fucking shame.
Maybe they knew they were going to be doing Spider-Man or Spider-Man was the next thing. They're like, let's get all of this weird shit out of our systems. We got to toe the line with this Marvel franchise. Let's go bonkers on Sunset Overdrive.
And they do.
They do indeed. Speaking of going bonkers, Norman Reedus lost his mind and accidentally announced that they're making Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, he fucked up, eh? He fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Unless this is a Kojima thing.
Well, Hideo Kojima responded on Twitter, but he didn't deny it. He just chastised Norman Reedus for saying something.
Hey, fuck you, man.
You motherfucker.
Yeah. He basically like sent him to his room. Essentially, I don't have the exact quote from the tweet, but like,
Man,
it's
it
a
was Kojima Productions cannot confirm or deny anything from Norman Reedus, but hey, Norman, fuck you.
Yeah, hey, shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, if and when this is true, it's fascinating because that game doesn't need a sequel.
No,
the main conflict is completely resolved at the end of the game.
But what's great about it is that Kojima said that if we're gonna make a sequel, we're gonna go back to zero. A very Metal Gear reference. We're gonna go back to zero, and it's gonna be a very, very different game.
Well, that's good because
So,
I
you
mean, Death Stranding 1 still exists, and if I want to carry packages, that's what I'm gonna play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. There's no there. You're exactly, especially with the director's cut. There
Mhm.
is no need for another package delivery game.
Yeah. I mean, it does have kind of another world, another dimension aspect to it, so they could probably do whatever the
There's
fuck they want.
lots of things, man. Just like Metal Gear, though, like they realistically could have done anything with that franchise by the third or fourth installments. Just like this, though, it's way more out there. So with the second one, I would believe whatever Kojima comes up with. Fuck, he'd probably be playing as some sort of fucking. I don't- Fuck, who
I want to
knows?
see it contain the cut content from the Phantom Pain. Let it
Nice.
complete Metal Gear
Yeah.
without ever saying that it's completing Metal Gear.
Yeah, exactly. It ties the universes together.
Yeah,
That's deep.
you play this Brawlic Jake, and he's got a particular set of skills, and he's gonna use them to save the world. Shut up! Nobody say anything to Konami.
He's not big boss. He's large leader.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah, he's
see
not
that
solid
happening.
snake. He's flaccid penis. Oh no, I'm sorry. I mean, wait, what? Sorry.
It's a little too on the nose,
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
The-
even
the-
for
the-
Kojima.
The main character will just be will be Commander or the Commander or Commander 6.
Yep.
Just reference to his height because he's a big boss. Don't you fucking get it? Oh my god, do you get it? Yeah.
And it just
Um,
rams that down your throat 50
Yep.
to 60 times over the course of the game.
Yeah.
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 Like it.
So that's cool. Cool that's probably happening in some capacity that we'll find out more about in 2028.
Does he hire David Hayter? That's my only question. Does he hire David Hayter?
No.
Probably not.
Fuck.
No. No, him and Norman Reedus are best buddies now, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be him.
Dude, David's what? That dude that wrote X-Men 2? What? Yo, I'm hanging out with that dude, man. Walking Dead, baby. 13 seasons, dog. Like,
Have you
fuck.
seen Ride with Norman Reedus?
yo, have you seen Boondock Saints? Like, I don't have time for the dude that he wrote X-Men 2.
Yeah, that's the only credit you got, huh? That's
I don't,
fine.
I don't mean to bury David Hayter. I love David Hayter. He's a fantastic. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think it's questionable if he can still do the voice though.
Yeah, but he can. Man, when they're ready to make MGS4, when they're ready for Old Snake, there's nobody better.
Okay, got it. Well, odds are this is not the next thing that's coming out of Kojima Productions, because there's still that persistent rumor that they're making something for Xbox.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
Presumably they'd be making that first.
Yeah, presumably, but we have no idea the ramifications of this leak from Norman Reedus. He may have, man, I don't know, maybe he was into some of that fucking, that Conor McGregor winning 11 whiskey. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was, and he dropped something that he should not have dropped. Like maybe Sony has this fucking queued up, you know?
Maybe. Oh,
Just
maybe.
saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, I love it. Like, it's been a while since Death Stranding came out.
Yeah,
Kojima's a
I guess that was
workhorse.
2018.
Yeah, Kojima, we know Kojima's a workhorse. He's been working on Metal Gear for 30 years straight, essentially. Took a year or two off for Zone of Enders. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he finished Death Stranding and immediately knew exactly what he wanted to do next with that series franchise.
Let's see. If there's a place that we will find out about it, it might or might not be the artist formerly known as E3. James, tell me more about what you have coined as E3 Zombie Edition.
Well, like, officially it's dead. You know, we're taking a year off. No, you're not. You're taking 100 years off. You're never coming back. You're fucked. You were fucked 4 years ago, and now this is just making it much more official. But, funny story, there's like 7 presentations happening between June 9th and June 12th that just so happened to be falling into this window. And like Nintendo hasn't announced anything yet, and Sony is too cool for school and has been for years. But Xbox is doing one. PC gaming show, future game show, the wholesome direct, the one that just covers all the cozy games. The PC gaming show, which I think I already mentioned. There's a couple others, but there's like 7 or 8 that are running between June 9th and June 12th. Oh, the Summer Games Fest. That's another one. So if you didn't pay attention in the news, you could be forgiven for thinking that E3 was happening this year. Or at least the conferences, because there's a lot of them.
I mean, honestly, even in the last few years of its quote unquote heyday, in the largest possible air quotes, E3 was the thing that made E3 the worst. You know? E3 was the worst part of that entire experience in LA with all the events and things that were going on. E3 was the thing that we always had to do begrudgingly.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Oh god, it was like you walked through the doors and you were walking into an atom bomb of body odor and
After the public got let in, it was fucked. Before that, E3 was great.
it was dark. Yeah, was the public?
Honestly, it became less the thing that it was supposed to be. Like, I don't want to muscle through lines of people who these people wanted to go to PAX, and they're going to PAX again a couple months earlier, a couple months later, whatever it is. Fuck, I'm not surprised it's dead. It is dead though. It'll be dead.
Yeah. No, now we just got the Conference Palooza. It's just going to happen around the exact same time, coincidentally. And then we're good,
I'm dead. Sorry. Take me off screen.
Play him up, boys. All right.
Poor guys.
What I'm saying is
Yeah.
fuck the public.
I mean, cons and convention-like atmospheres are cauldrons for disease. So
straight up.
So like basically to survive E3 without getting sick, you needed a fucking gold tier subscription to hand sanitizer. Like there was no other way. There's no other way you're getting through that shit, man.
Yo, we live in a post-COVID or semi-post-COVID world, or at least we live in a semi-post-COVID North America. And yes, you're right. Like now we recognize the kind of devastation that this type of shit can do. So, hey everybody, wash yourselves, put some hand sanitizer on, clean yourselves. You don't need to be coughing into your hands and then touching shit, Keep a little keep a little bottle of hand sanitizer in your pocket. Keep a little squeeze of something, spray. You know what I mean? It's easy.
Don't let yourself become a witch's brew, okay?
Yeah. It's easy.
Somebody's gonna though.
Yo, well, enough said when 2 years ago Nintendo had to put out a statement saying, yo, if you're coming to our Smash tournaments, you need to pay. Sorry.
Question:
Just
do you think
too-
that worked?
No.
No way.
Right. Absolutely not. That was probably the stankest group of people in one place ever.
The worst. I'm sorry.
Question: in your opinions, of all the people who play Smash, which character is the stinkiest? Like, is
Meta
it,
Knight. Meta Knight.
I was gonna say, is it Meta Knight?
Yeah, it's Meta Knight.
You don't think it's Donkey Kong? You don't think
No,
that's the one?
no.
You don't think he takes it?
No.
Have
No.
you buried your nose into a fucking gorilla recently? Because I tell you, man, it's probably bad.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I would agree with you until I won't even say it. I'm sorry. I won't even say it. I shouldn't say that.
Okay. Okay.
I bet Princess Zelda just lets him rip.
I was just gonna say, until I got into the sack with Zelda, and it felt like I was going to Del Taco. No, sorry, I shouldn't. Yeah. Sorry.
Couple all timers from our boy Rhett.
that's
Yeah, I think anybody who wears armor is probably not having a good time, especially after all the fighting.
yeah.
You know, they all sweat like fucking crazy from the physical exertion. But anybody who's
Exactly.
wearing
So
like
are we? So we're not talking about Zelda. We're not talking about Peach. We're not talking about.
Samus Aran, probably
Oh yeah.
does not shower.
Also, Daisy. All four of them. The four horsewomen.
Of the apocalypse. Smash apocalypse.
The cockalips. Sorry,
You went there.
I need to stop. I need to stop.
Yeah.
So,
So
what
I don't
were
know,
we talking
E3
about?
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. E3. Yeah, fuck that.
Where
That's
did
done.
we come from and how did we get here?
That's dead and buried.
What is apparently not dead and buried is the next part of the Final Fantasy VII remake, because they made a specific news statement that there will be news.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where you catch one of these guys out man in the street style or in an interview during one of their many appearances in Famitsu or whatever, and they're, oh yeah, it's coming, don't worry, but what? I mean, this is from the last time we talked. We brought up that Final Fantasy 16 is supposedly almost finished, although, like, again, proof in the pudding, please, before we
Yeah.
make any big swinging assumptions like that. And then, like, I pretty much resigned myself to the fact that we will not see another section of the Final Fantasy remake story until we're like halfway through the life cycle of the PS5.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, just no.
Well, we said this on the FF7 remake spoiler cast. Go back and listen to that if you haven't. But you know, this game fundamentally changes the structure of the Final Fantasy VII story and kind of opens them to do whatever they want. So they need to be a little bit careful. They need to make sure they don't go too far into Nomura land so that nobody understands or cares about the story anymore. So they're probably being quite careful with this next part, especially.
So what's coming first? 16? Oh, well, 16.
Probably,
No doubt.
probably 16.
Over part
Yeah.
2? Yeah.
Yeah. Part 2 will probably. I'm going to guess that they've got it divided up into 3 parts. And then, like, whatever. They're like, oh, is that all going to fit? And they say, no, but we're going to make it fit. Because we can't make this a 5-part saga because a lot of the developers will be dead or retired by the time we get there.
And a lot of our players will be dead. Like, we need to fucking get this done.
So,
Yeah.
so part 2 will be like, you know, exploring the game world, the larger world, you know, going to the towns and the villages and doing all that crazy shit, getting into some backstory, getting into some extra characters. And then part 3 is like, you know, apocalypse, the end of the world, that sort of thing, where like it's you versus the man himself for the last time, because, you know, you'll fight Sephiroth a bunch because he's too interesting of a villain to just let.
Oh, but
fallow.
Sephiroth is not the man?
Who could say?
Yeah.
I think he is, because they will not be able to come up with a more interesting villain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if they're like, no, we're changing the story. It's not Sephiroth anymore. No, it is.
Yeah, I will say, you know,
Because nobody else is cool enough.
from a person that doesn't know the story of Final Fantasy VII, never played the original, when Sephiroth showed up late when we were getting out of town, I was like, God damn, I want to like, I need to know what happens next. I need to get this motherfucker. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. very
Yeah.
convincing villain in my eyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone can do it, it's Tetsuya Nomura. If anyone can create a more simultaneously incredibly attractive but also extremely nondescript character, it's Nomura.
Mm.
Like every character
Also,
that
if
guy
he
has ever drawn looks the same.
also if he changes who the villain is, the Final Fantasy VII fans will find him and pull him down like they're toppling a dictator.
Yeah.
I want to see it be Kefka.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not bring him back?
Yeah,
I was thinking
from
maybe
FF6. Let's do it.
Aerith's mom. Maybe she could maybe have a bit more of a prominent role.
Barrett's daughter. She's the big
Ah,
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't on our list for news, but I did read this that apparently there's a Final Fantasy IX anime coming out.
Yes.
What?
Mhm.
That game rules. This
Yep.
cartoon will be awesome.
It's people. There was some backlash back in the day when they first announced it because they said it was going to be targeting an 8 to 13-year-old audience, which actually covers a fair bit of ground ideologically and content-wise. Also, Final Fantasy IX was originally most assuredly in that specific strike zone,
Mm-hmm.
and so people probably, I don't know, maybe they're bummed out. They're like, oh, what if it doesn't have all the cool adult themes like identity crisis and platonic relationships with the girl you like? What if it doesn't have those things? What will we do?
Obviously, we'll go and kill God.
Yeah. What if it doesn't have the complex adult themes of finding and killing God? Which, listen, you can introduce that to a 12-year-old for sure. You can.
Anyway, I have no idea what that will be. If it's just like peripheral stories in that same world, or if it will involve the main characters of the game, I don't know. I'm curious to find out, though.
Yeah. I'm expecting it to disappoint in one way, maybe two.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
For sure. People will love
Probably.
it in spite of that.
Probably gonna be partial CG. I don't know which studio's taking care of it, but I'm gonna say partial CG for sure.
Okay.
And everybody's voices are gonna be kind of annoying.
Oh,
Mhm.
no doubt. Lock that in.
Yeah. Vivi will open his mouth the first time, and everybody watching will be a little sadder than they were before.
There'll be a lot of nope, nope. That's not what he sounds like.
Yeah, and that's in any language too. Like if they're doing a Japanese audio track and an English one, you'll be switching back and forth between the two channels, only to find out that there's nothing on anywhere. All right, like this, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. When it finally comes out or it's finally released, we'll see. As
Yeah.
arguably the most underrated of the Final Fantasy games, maybe this will help that game reach a bit of a larger audience.
Yeah, game rules.
So, what are you guys up to in the next couple weeks?
Well, there's probably some Nintendo titles coming out in June that I will be covering because that is what I do. That is the thing. That is the thing for James. If you can think in your mind, hey, there's a big Nintendo title coming out in June, odds are eventually I will be playing it.
Is there a big Nintendo title coming out in June?
There are two for sure. Because I think Fire Emblem is coming out next month, the Musu game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the Mario sports game, it's like soccer, I think. I don't know.
I
Anyways,
think
Oh
I'm
wait,
gonna,
no, that's shoot. Oh yeah,
Yeah, Strikers. Yeah.
Strikers. Man, I would love to play Strikers.
yeah,
Looks good.
yeah. Looks
It's probably a complete rehash of the first one, and that's fine. That game was cool.
Yeah.
Just like Mario Tennis, just keep giving me that same game. It's fine.
yeah. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, man. It's just play it honest, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Video game industry, lay it on us. We're here for it.
Also, I cannot fucking wait for fake zombie E3.
Oh yeah.
Have me on bated breath watching all those prezzies.
You better believe it. I can't wait to see how many games Xbox shows and reveals and talks about that are not coming out this year. It's going to be a lot of them.
Yes, a lot.
Some would say too many, but you know.
The next
We'll see.
Hellblade, we'll get a nice chunky preview for that.
Calling it
Maybe some-
2024 for that one.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe 2023. We'll see. But in any case, we'll be here for that. We'll talk about that. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
I'm sure of that. We'll talk about it. But yeah, until then, we have been the fellas of the Press X to podcast, and it's been quite a ride.
Sure has.
We went some places, especially you, Rhett. You went some places today.
The end is
you're a
near.
You're a traveling, rambling man. Rhett.
Shut up. And so I face the final curtain. And now the end is certain something. Man, God damn it. Each charted course, each careful step along the byway. If you don't know what I'm singing right now, you need to go look up my man Frank.
Do not and I won't, but thank you.
Okay.
We're all richer for having experienced that thing that you just dropped like an anvil in our laps. What a gift, Rhett. What a gift.
Sorry.
I loved every second of it.
Every second.
We'll see you next time, everybody.
Bye-bye.